Hey folks, Anisha here, and I've got a feature for you to check out. So don't you wish that you could work with outside collaborators inside an organization using Codespaces? Well, you'll be pleased to know that you can now. So Mike, why don't you tell us more about this new feature?
Awesome. Thanks, Anisha. I'm Mike. My GitHub handle is @AsciiMike, and I'm one of the product managers on the Codespaces team. Like Anisha said, I'm really excited to talk about the Codespaces external collaborators feature. This allows you to invite external collaborators to your organization to start using Codespaces. We'll start by enabling this feature on your organization settings. So in your organization settings, under the user permissions section, you'll notice a new option, which is allow for all users and external collaborators. This setting will allow you to add those external collaborators to your Codespaces if desired. If you don't want external collaborators, just select all users or selected users, and you can get that subset of users using Codespaces. Once you have that setting enabled, you can add outside collaborators to your organization, and then add the outside collaborators to the individual repo. So you'll see here, I've added my alter ego, Unicode Mike, as an outside collaborator on my Codespaces collab test repo. We're now ready to go. You'll notice that I'm now running as Unicode Mike, my alter ego over here. And in the code dropdown, you can see the new Codespace section. That proves that as an external collaborator, I can create a new Codespace. I have all of the options that my parent organization that I was invited to join, and I'll be cost conscious, save them a little money, and use a 2-core machine. And we can spin up that Codespace right now. Okay, we're now in the Codespace, and I can start making changes as an external collaborator. And let's imagine that we want to work together to collaborate on something. Back as AsciiMike, I can also create a Codespace. And again, we'll just make a 2-core machine. And this will allow me to collaborate with those external collaborators. We're in, I can pull from main, and you can see the message that I just committed. And there we have it. We've just been able, in a very, very simplified demo, to use this feature to collaborate together.
Mike, I loved it. This was fantastic. I love how this is great for collaborating and working together. So what other use cases do you see it enabling?
Yeah. So the 2 common use cases that we've seen so far are interviewing and sort of education or training. So GitHub has actually fairly recently started using Codespaces for interviewing, in that we can just create an environment that has all of our sort of standard interview questions. And it's a really nice secure sandbox that, we can see what users are doing. We know what tools they have. But users can also actually use the tools that they're going to be using day to day, right? We don't have to sit here and worry that someone is, secretly using Copilot behind the scenes. Like, they have Copilot, they can use it. And we know that that's happening. So it's a really nice way of sort of controlling that environment. Similarly, for education and sort of professional training, we've seen people add in outside collaborators to their organization and get, hundreds or potentially thousands of their sales reps, or maybe they want to do they're a consulting company and they want a client to start using their piece of software. They can load that into Codespaces, and they have a really nice pre-built environment that folks can just immediately start using.
Wow, so many different use cases. I can definitely see more as well. So what about open source development then?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I don't think we're quite there, but I have a vision that there are a lot of open source projects that I play around with, and maybe I find an issue with. It would be great if I could just open a Codespace on that and have a pre-built environment. So I think this is maybe starting to get there, where a larger open source organization could start adding common contributors as outside collaborators to the organization and start giving them access to those resources. We talked to folks recently who kind of want sandbox environments. So when someone opens a pull request, maybe that could automatically, maybe add a GitHub action that adds them as a collaborator for the next, 24 hours and would give them a bit of compute so they could actually test that out. So I think we're getting to the point where we can start enabling some really interesting open source use cases as well.
Perfect. All right. So thanks so much, Mike, for sharing this. So folks, go ahead and check out this new feature and let us know what you think about it. You can leave your comments down below, hit us up on Twitter, or leave your feedback on the GitHub discussions repo as well. So stay tuned for more checkout videos coming your way very soon.